Hey, what's up, man? So today I got something super special for y'all, man. We got Frayser Boy representing that Memphis in the house, man. What's up, Frayser Boy?
Big Memphis all day. What poppin'?
Not much, man. Not much, man. You out here moving and grooving, obviously.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me, man. All the way from Memphis, man. You know I had to come touch bases.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Now, what's been new with you, Frayser Boy? I see you still actively out here making music, doing your thing, but man, what's new?
Man, I just dropped Bay to the A2, me and T-Rock from Atlanta. It's featuring Cameron, Young Buck, Snoop Dogg, and a couple other people, man. I just dropped that, I think it was Valentine's. And I actually dropped the Christmas album this year or last year, so it was called Christmas Trees. So those are the past two projects I just dropped, probably within the last 2-3 months.
Yep, and I saw that, and I keep track of, man, you and T-Rock, man. T-Rock and you being two of my favorite that came with that new group in HCP. That was a time right there. That was a time
for sure. Shout out T-Rock.
Now, what's crazy is you come from Memphis, and we hear a lot about Memphis. We hear about the people from Memphis. We hear a lot about the culture and things like that. But could you tell me what it was like growing up where you're from in Memphis?
Well, I grew up in an area called Frayser. We call it Bay Area because it's a high trafficking cocaine area and it's close to the water. So we call it the Bay Area. It's Frayser where I'm from. And I mean, just coming up, it's probably like any other hood. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of, I can say a lot. I lost a lot of friends, gained a lot of friends, and just, you know, I'm still here. You know, a lot of crazy things went on in my hood, but you know what it is. I just put God first, man. Like, I just moved through it.
Nah, that's what's up. And there's a lot of publicity, especially around the time that you were blowing up, about Frayser, about being from Frayser and about the Bay side, because you guys had another artist from there by the name of Lil Wyte. But I guess he's from another.
No, it's the same Frayser. He grew up actually maybe 5 miles from where I'm from. I'm from a place called Greenbrier Apartments, and he's from the west side. It's probably 5-10 minutes from where I grew up at. And Lil Wyte kind of younger than me, so we grew up in different, you know what I'm saying, areas of Frayser, but he's definitely the same neighborhood I'm from.
Nah, that's what's up,
the same side.
And to be real, man, when you first got into the rap game, you pretty much hit the ground running. And I've seen your story being told a couple of times, but I'd love to hear it again about how you met DJ Paul and Juicy J, how you were inspired by Project Pat, and how you began rapping.
Well, I'm gonna say this, rest in peace, Kusa nigga, from 3-6 Mafia. I met him in apartments where I'm from, Greenbrier, and I used to mess with his cousin named Pam. And I used to be up to her house all the time kicking it, and he used to be up there also. So that's how I met him, and we became good friends. So I began going to the studio with him back and forth. And that's simple as that. That's how I met Paul and Jay. And from there on, I just was, became more and more at the studio on a daily basis with Coop. And I actually started for getting my voice heard. I was doing, they have crowd chants and hooks they do, you know, with a lot of people to make the hooks kind of heavy. And I used to join in with the choruses, and I guess, you know, I had the voice and the tone, and they saw something that I didn't even know I had in myself, and they just made me an artist myself.
Nah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
The fact that you would be a member in one of the chants, you know, that they do in the background that they're famous from, and they just peeped you out of that and just say, hey, man, this guy's got something, and it went on from there, huh?
That's exactly how it happened, man. And I was doing skits and stuff like that. And so my voice was heard on a lot of Hypnotized Minds records before I even started rapping myself, doing background vocals and stuff like that. So that's exactly how it started, man. Crazy.
Now, as a young cat, man, you see what 3-6 is doing at that time. They literally taking over, right?
Right.
You get your first placement, is it true, on Lil Chat's first project?
Exactly. Lil Chat, Murder She Spoke. Shout out Lil Chat. That's my sister right there. On the Posse song, I was in the studio one day, and if you know Hypnotized Minds records, we always do a Posse song with every artist that's on the label at the time on one song. We all just go crazy on one song, and I was at Yeah, I was at the studio one night and they was recording the Posse song for the check. And a lot of artists had left at the time, so it wasn't it really wasn't number 3 6 Mafia and maybe another artist outside of 3 6 Mafia that was on the label at the time. And another thing, Project Pat was in prison at the time, so Paul had made a joke with like, Frayser, ain't nobody left. We might as well let you write a verse and go and lay you a verse. And I told him, try me. And from then on, he told me to go up there and write 8 bars, and I wrote 8 bars and recorded it. They liked it, and maybe 2 to 3 weeks later, I had a Hypnotized Mind contract as an artist myself.
Nice, man. Talk about, wow.
Crazy. They been in the right place at the right time, man. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Now, before that, had you already had aspirations of being a rapper?
Yeah, just being around them. Coming from Memphis, I always loved music anyway. You know what I'm saying? We had our own artists kind of enough to where we listened to our own artists at the time, and coming from Memphis is it's a soulful place, so you're gonna love music. So I always loved music. I didn't know I was gonna become a artist myself, but being around 3 6 Mafia, it kind of inspired me, and it got in my blood. You know what I'm saying? Even before I started doing it myself. So when you watching DJ Paul, Juicy J, Project Pat, Gangsta Boo, rest in peace, Gangsta Boo, rest in peace, Lord Infamous. You watching people like them, greatness, do what they do. It's gonna rub off on you easily.
And what's crazy is 3 6 Mafia was one of those first Southern acts to really break that mainstream.
Right.
I'm talking about with the Smoke Clears Out, going #1. I'm talking about MTV and BET placements, music videos,
right.
of heavy rotation. It's like, as a Memphis artist, I couldn't think of a better situation to be in for you, right?
Yeah, it was very motivating, you know what I'm saying? Just to see people come from where you from, make it out with music, you know what I'm saying? That kind of give you the throttle that, yeah, you know, you could do it too. You know what I'm saying? Even if you was the kind of person that doubt yourself, it kind of motivated you to know, like, you know, you could do it too. Look at them. They come from the same place you from, same city you from, and they made it out. So that kind of helped a lot.
Nah, that's what's up. So I got to ask you this. What was up with the early days of 3 6 Mafia? You get signed, you do it, you're recording, you're under contract, things get serious, man. So you guys are moving around doing shows. How was that, man?
Oh, it was beautiful, man. Some of the best time of my life, man, just going on the road. And even before I was doing music myself, just seeing people gravitate to what they was doing, you know, so well. It was like people was going crazy. It's just, like I say, it was motivating. It kind of made it make you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, from just watching it just made me who I am, man. You know what I'm saying? I just kept at it and just kept going.
Now, I love these type of stories because it always feels like, you know, no matter the generation, no matter when in hip hop, it's like almost like hip hop saves a life. You know, it takes somebody, and not saying that you would have, you know, anything would have went bad for you, you know, knock on wood, but the fact that you could just find that sort of inspiration and then go on and do something with it, you know, take the ball and essentially go ahead.
Man, I was scared to death at first, but when I realized that people actually like my music, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know how they was going to accept what I was doing, because like I said, I wasn't a rapper. I never was a rapper. I never had nobody hear music coming from me, and just coming out with the top dogs, the first time you take a crack at it, I mean, you just don't know where it's going to lead to. So just to know that people was liking it, they gave me more confidence, and I started getting better and better and taking it more serious.
Now, when it comes to Memphis culture, I got to ask you this. There's been, ever since those days, there's been a long-standing tradition of like these Memphis type beats, very dark, lot of samples in the background, or chanty type samples. And it's always drawn a lot of like questions about it. Like, where exactly does that sound come from?
I mean, that's just how we operate. We different. We do a lot of repetitive hooks. I mean, we just got our own style, our own flavor, man. I think it's in the barbecue sauce.
Okay. In the cooking. I got you. Y'all known for that as well.
Yeah.
Which is good. Now, and this is going to sound a little crazy, but in the past, there's always been rumors that there was some sort of like, man, like a satanic, demonic type of ritual thing going on with 3 6 or whatever. And because of the style of beat and because of everything, people used to, you know, they believed that for a long time. I remember
I mean, I
Did
think
you
it
see
just,
any of those rumors?
yeah, I heard a lot of rumors that it just, I think it worked for them. I heard Paul tell this story. I wasn't around when they came up with the name, but I've heard them tell stories. It was just like Lord was saying 666 Mafia in a lot of his raps, and Paul, I thought it was catchy, and it just caught on from there. They just kept the name, and I think they just liked the name and kept going. It wasn't not from my eyes, me seeing it, no satanic, because I'm God-fearing man, so I ain't going for none of it. So I didn't see no satanic. It was just the name of the group, man, and it was just how they rock. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no stuff like that. Well, from my eye, from me seeing it. But if I would have saw something like that would have been my exit.
I got me too.
For real.
No, I get you. And a lot of people used to believe that. And I used to wonder, is this part promotion?
Yeah, it was just because of the name 666 Mafia. It was just the name of the posse. But it wasn't no real satanic, no stuff like that.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Now, in your early days of signing with 3-6 Mafia, a little bit after your first placement on Lil Chat's album, they come out with a string of pictures. And I was wondering, how come you weren't in the movies, the films, Choices 1 and Choices 2?
I was in both of them.
Really?
Oh, in Choices 1, I had a small role, one a speaking role. They went into the bar and they were shooting pool and they was looking for somebody, and I got hit in the face with a pool ball. That was my first introduction to the movies. So the first one, and on the second one, I had a nice little speaking part. Yeah, I was in both of them.
Now, I've watched both of those movies, so please forgive me.
No, it's good. I didn't have a beard then, so, it probably looked a little different. I was in, they had another movie, Clean Up Man too. I was also in it. Yeah, I was in pretty much every movie they put out.
Now, you were definitely featured heavily on the soundtracks too. So that dispels a part of my question, because I like Choices 2. Like I watched that movie a lot.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember seeing you in there. I remember
I had a large part with I think his name, his music name is Caffeine, the guy that played in Minister Society.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got a large part with him. Yeah. I'm in the car talking about setting somebody else up. Yeah.
Okay. It's coming together now. It's coming together, man. Let me give you your props, man, because IMDb, what is it? IMDb, they didn't do you justice and put you in there. And I was like, I know he had to be in those movies.
Yeah, I'm in everything. The first one was a short one, so it's probably was easy to miss me in that one. But the second one, I actually had a speaking role. I actually had to read a script.
Now, when it came to the soundtrack for Choices 2, you and Lil Wyte are all over that soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that was the time. Go ahead.
Almost every song, you know what I'm saying? So how much work and effort and what you guys were doing around that time? I'd love to hear the stories.
I mean, we were just doing what we do. It was at a time when me and Lil Wyte was kind of hot at the time, and they was pushing us more, like I say, and Project Pat was in prison at the time, so they was working with me and Lil Wyte a lot. So I guess it was the timing. And while we was working on the movie, we was in LA for about 2-3 months recording and shooting the movie. So it was kind of made it easier to work with us more. So that's probably why we on everything.
Now, during that time, were you back and forth between LA and Memphis?
I think when we shot Choices 2, we stayed out there for a couple months. But I think we went back to Memphis maybe one time in that whole 2 months and came back. But yeah, of course I was back and forth to Memphis. After we left, we went right back to Memphis.
Now, I gotta ask this. As a young cat, you in the rap game, you flying out to LA to do movies, you go on the soundtrack and everything, major releases. Like you link it up. There's a song that I love with you and Lil Flip. All this is going on at the same time. You said you kind of had to already train yourself into saying, yo, man, I could do this. Like, this is a lot moving fast. So at that time, how were you feeling and what was going on?
Oh, man, it was amazing, man. Just working with people that you already see doing their thing, man, and they knowing who you are and they respecting what you do. I mean, it was a dope time, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think it'll be dope to anybody to just rub elbows with people that's already established in the game. You know what I'm saying? And they know who you are at the same time. It was amazing, man.
Okay, now at that time, you guys were working a lot with a comedian I really love his social media presence, Lil Duval.
Oh yeah, that's my guy.
Now, do you have any stories working with Lil Duval, and how did that work relationship?
Man, when we shot, that's when we were shooting Cleanup Men. We actually stayed in where we was, South part of California. We actually shot it where my name is. Him and Duval, we actually stayed in some part of California when we were shooting Cleanup Men. I mean, I don't have any crazy stories, but I got to know him real well while we were shooting that movie.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't. I can't think of nothing crazy, but we talked a lot and got to know each other. But real cool dude, man. Real cool dude.
Hilarious. His social media presence still today is crazy. He's one of the funniest guys on social media.
Oh man, he's naturally funny, man. You already know what it is with him.
So during that time period, how much time did you say you would spend with like the two CEOs of the label, like Juicy J and DJ Paul?
I mean, pretty much every day. I mean, it wasn't too distant while I was there. I mean, we pretty much see them every day, especially in the studio or while we're doing anything, because they on hand with everything they do, and you know they close to the artist, so it really wasn't no distance between us like that. So pretty much every day.
In a short period of time, they established several different LLCs and created different labels and kind of brandized them as different groups almost. Because you had your Hypnotized Camp Posse, and then you had 3-6 Mafia, then you had Profit Entertainment and all those. But when it came for you to sign your deal, you signed your major deal under Warner, correct?
No. When it was with Profit, there was something else. That was a label they had before they formed Hypnotized Minds. And then after they got from Profit Posse, I think they had their label with someone else. So they got the label on their own, Hypnotized Mind. That's why they started Hypnotized Mind. It was just Paul and Jay. I signed with Hypnotized Minds, artists on Hypnotized Minds. And with Warner Brothers, that was just one venture, one solo project. When I came out with my second album, Me Being Me, they signed me and Lil Wyte was their first artist. It was called Warner Brothers Asylum. Yep. And it was me, Lil Wyte, Boosie, Webby, and Mike Jones and Paul Wall. We was their first acts. So my second album, Me Being Me, with the lead single, I Got That Drink, that was on the Warner Brothers, but I was still under Hypnotized Minds.
Now, I was going to get there, but man, we rolling. So man, I wanted to ask you about that time period.
Right.
So this is all during the time where Houston is blowing up.
Right. They was hot. They was on fire.
You get two of the most prominent rappers in the game at that time on your album. With your song, I Got That Drink. You got Paul Wall, you got Mike Jones. And the thing is going crazy, man.
Right, that was my biggest single.
Video getting primetime placement on MTV, MTV2, it's going crazy. And people are really like, yo, y'all hear about that Frayser Boy? You know, it really, what was the difference between you dropping your first album, Gone on That Bay, and then dropping your second album, Me Being Me?
I wasn't as spooked on my second album. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew where I wanted to go musically. See, the first album, I was straight out the streets. I wasn't a rapper. I just wrote to the beats. And then when you're writing the Paul and Juicy beats, that kind of make it easy too. I already had the stories in my mind. And you know, coming up, watching Project Pat, man, you learn the game. You learn how to put stuff in song mode, just watching them. So the first album was a learning experience. The second album was more of me knowing what I wanted to do musically for myself. So, yeah, so the difference between the first and the second one, I knew what I wanted to do. The first album, I didn't know what I was getting into. I just got into it and did it.
So at first you were more raw, and then you came in and you were more polished on the second project.
Exactly.
And you kind of hear that transition.
Right. I got better. Second album, I got better lyrically from my point of view. A lot of people say they like the first one better, but just the second one, I knew what I wanted. I knew what direction I wanted to go and how I wanted to approach the beats.
Now, on most of the Memphis rap pages, people love Gone on That Bay. That's like they're one from you. You know what I'm saying? Like they love that album. You know what I mean?
And a lot of people don't know at the time I wasn't a rapper, man. I just followed my heart. It was just all what's the word I'm looking for? It was all me just, I didn't know where I was going, but I'm glad it went the way it went. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, you was following your heart, right?
I was following my heart.
Yeah, you said, man, let me go ahead and pick this up and run with it.
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure. I'm not gonna lie, because you got to realize I never done that before. I didn't have a mixtape or anything before. That was my first album. Period. Like, period.
And it was independent, right? So
yeah. Oh yeah, it did real. Yeah, it's still doing real good today. 20 years later.
It got pushed like a major though.
Yeah. It was making noise, man. So that kind of helped a lot too, because when I was doing it, I didn't know where I was going, but I got to the right destination there. I guess you could say that.
Definitely, man.